I totally forgot. All right, so I think it's recording now. The cloud. I paid the $40 for it, so fucking Zoom, don't you fuck me. All right, so this is a special edition sort of mid-card mana with a bunch of my wrestling friends. Because I need to talk to people. Because I started talking to my dolls and myself. It's not a fucking good time. I mean, it's a good time for me, but it doesn't speak well for my mental health. So, we got a bunch of people. Actually, I think all of us are on different islands, so that's kind of dope. Big Island represent over here. You know, Loose Cannon. Zane, I think, is over on Maui. Yeah, Austin's over in Hawaii. And Mark's over on Oahu. So we are all...
Wrestling's bringing people together. That's what
uniting the islands. Hell yeah. So Austin brought up a good point, and I totally forgot about it. This is how much fucking quarantine's got me fucked up. I forgot Money in the Bank, one of my favorite pay-per-views of the year, is coming up real fast.
Yeah, this is like well, technically you could say, like, this kind of started with the whole Ultimate Deletion stuff that they did with Matt Hardy and whatever, but this is like some Donkey Kong arcade shit that they're gonna do with Money in the Bank. And initially I was like, okay, this sounds stupid, but the more I think about it, I'm like, oh my god, this could be really fucking sweet. Like I could just see it going like do you guys remember that old Attitude Era commercial that they filmed like in Titan Towers?
The guy falling out the building and
then Vince is like, get it, pal. Like, I could see it being like that. Like, if they go full on balls to the wall ridiculousness, like they've been doing with the Boneyard match and Firefly Funhouse, I can just see it being great. And I think they're doing it for both. So. I hope they do it for both ladder matches. Like, this would be, like, it would be a little overkill, but I don't know. Wrestling is supposed to be bollocks.
It's probably going to have all three happening at one time. And we're going to see what's happening in the first level or the Raw side. First level of Smack.
Some World War III shit.
Yeah. And on the very top, you see all, like, the last four contestants of each brand. It's like, okay.
Like, I'm literally going to fight you to the top of the building.
It'd be awesome if they're wearing, like, shells and if they're wearing blue spikes. Just like Donkey Kong.
And then what, is Vince gonna be at the top of the ladder? And as soon as you don't even like climb the ladder to grab it, you don't even climb to the top of the ladder to get the briefcase. You just reach the top of the ladder, and then Vince just gives you the briefcase.
Either way, Braun has to dress up like Mario. He just has to. Blue overalls, red shirt. That's all he needs.
That would be some fucking ridiculous shit though, man. Can you imagine?
Like, this is how little I've been like paying attention to the WWE product a little bit, but like I don't even know what's. I'm looking at the card right now, and I'm like, I didn't know Otis was in the fucking ladder match. Holy shit!
Yeah, Otis is moving on up, dude. He's got a girl now.
Damn.
He's got his dream girl. He's got Mandy after the fucking 4 years spent lusting after her in developmental. All throughout their NXT careers, man.
Like, I'm looking at the card now, I'm like, okay, this is... I'm seeing, like, I'm seeing Daniel Bryan, Mysterio, I'm like, you know what, no, fuck all these guys. Otis should win Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
If
that would be the ultimate story, man.
What a guy. You get the girl at Mania, and now you're gonna be Mr. Money in the Bank.
That's just, man. If only we all could achieve that much. Yeah, no, I feel the same way. And I don't know. I don't know if it's because there's less people watch or like in the audience or no people in the audience or whatnot, but I don't retain as much of remembering watching wrestling than I did before. Like I'll watch, like I was telling you guys earlier, I'll watch something on Raw, and then by Wednesday I've already forgotten. And I'll be like, oh yeah, that happened on Raw. They did that. They talked about things and stuff.
Yeah, my take on that, I think it's just because we're spoiled with so much content on a weekly basis now. Between Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and AEW on top of that, it's almost like it's just too much.
Yeah.
Not that I'm complaining, but like it just gets to the point where it gets kind of overwhelming to catch up on some things, but I don't know. I think these empty arena shows, I feel like they've been like both companies, WWE and AEW, they've been doing their best with what they got. I mean, you can't knock them for wanting to put on a show, regardless of how kind of carny the WWE have been getting with their stuff. But I'll give them props. WrestleMania had those 2 nights they were better than anybody was expecting it to be. Like,
yeah.
Like, let's be real.
Yeah.
Like and it was just that end 2-night WrestleMania. That was just so much easier to fucking digest in one sitting instead of
one like 7-hour show.
Like sitting there all day and you feel like you're running a marathon. Like I would like had this whole I don't want to bring up COVID because I don't want to like instill fear into people and bring up panic and whatever, but had this not gone had this stayed in the in Tampa, the stadium, chances are we most likely would never have gotten Firefly Funhouse or the Boneyard match.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like I really liked WrestleMania. It was a lot easier to watch the 2 nights because I'm looking at the card right now. You had, if we're including the 2 pre-show matches and the fucking big show shit from Raw after. You had 19 matches on this entire card. Like, if I was there, I would not want to sit through all of this. Or I'd be dead tired halfway through.
Yeah. I think that, especially to me, the thing that I liked, and so the topic for our guests that just joined us, we're talking about, I guess, generally WrestleMania, this last year's one, all the different things that they did, moving the location, all that. But the thing that I think was the most beneficial, or thing I selfishly liked the most, was that by splitting it in 2 nights, it gave them a little more time they need to film, right? Because then you can't have it be 2 nights, 2 hours each. You know, that's shorter than an episode of Raw.
Yeah.
So they tried to use that time, or they tried to fill up the time. And we got to see people that we don't usually see on pay-per-views or go weeks without seeing on Raw or SmackDown or NXT or anything. So I thought that was cool. Gave some matches that would have probably been cut short a little bit more time. Allowed people to, I guess, show off their talents a little bit more. Or highlighted talents that maybe didn't usually get a lot of time. I was stoked that Drew Gulak got a match. It was pre-show, but it was still a match. Dude's super talented. I was really happy that he got to have a moment, especially now that he's teaming with Daniel Bryan. Hell yeah.
I can back to Gulak and Brian, I could see that kind of being like a storyline they develop over the summer, which leads to a split, and then maybe at like say SummerSlam or something, we'll get Brian versus Gulak or something.
Hell yeah.
I could see that happening. But I'm also kind of. Or should we go through Mania like in order, or just go off the top?
We can do whatever you want, man. This is just random. I think I titled this Mythicard Mana or talking some wrestling shit. Like, yeah, we can do whatever.
All right. So it was nice to see Sami Zayn in a one-on-one match.
Yeah, it was.
And the first time in what feels like months. And by the way, I'm still shocked as shit that I actually got to meet him at my work of all places.
I know, I'm still jealous as fuck that you did. But okay, I was so stoked for you.
Okay. I'll get back to the match, but you wanna hear the story of how I freaking ended up meeting him?
Hell yeah.
Okay, so at my work I work at a restaurant or a cafe, and I'm like a prep cook over there. And so there's like a window. There's a window where we can see outside into the restaurant. And what happened was like sometimes I look out the window to see, the customers or whatever. And then I look up and then I see a guy that kind of looked like Sami Zayn. And then I'm kind of thinking to myself, I'm like, there's no way that's him. There's no way that's actually Sami Zayn. So I was also helping out, like taking food out, and then like I kind of paid attention to see like he ordered food, so I was like paying attention to see like what like number he was taking, and I'll be like, oh, I'll take out number blah 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 blah. So I specifically like was like, oh, I'll take out Sami Zayn's number. So I'm like, all right, yeah. I'm like, I want to know. I'm curious. So I take the food out, give it to him, and then I ask him, I'm like I kind of like ask him like, hey, I'm sorry, you probably get this a lot, but are you Sami Zayn? And he's like, yeah, I am. And he shook my hand.
I would have freaked out, man. I would have fucking died.
And then I was like, oh, like I got really nervous, and he was like, and I told him like, yeah, hope you're having a good vacation. And then I went back to work, and then let him and the person he was with eat, and then I went back to work. And then like a couple minutes later, like one of my coworkers asked like, hey Austin, there's a guy over here asking for you. And I'm like, what do you mean?
Damn
like
right.
I'm like, what do you mean? I didn't do anything. And then I come out here and it's Sammy. And then he's like, hey man, you wanna get a picture before I get out of here? And I'm like, sure.
Hell yeah, dude, that's so awesome.
And so Sami Zayn offered her to take a picture. So I was like, oh, I'm sure. And then we took a picture. And then right after I took the food out to Sammy the first time, like I texted another mutual between me and Angie, Troy, because he worked.
Oh, yeah.
Troy, because he works like right down the road from me, and he does deliveries. So like I like hopped on Instagram and I like DM'd him. I'm like, dude, fucking Sami Zayn's here. Get over here, or like deliver our food already. Shit. And so yeah, that's the story of how I met Sami Zayn.
That's so awesome, dude. I'm so stoked to have
it was so random.
It's like ain't no wrestlers like make it known that they come to Hilo, except for Heidi Sane posted a picture of fucking Bayfront, I think 2 weeks after she had actually been here. And I was like, that's like that's like a 5-minute drive from my house. What the fuck?
I don't know. And here's another story. So when they were filming Hobbs and Shaw in Hawaii, they were filming it here on Kauai. And somebody I know was working at the hotel where all the cast and crew were staying at, and this included Roman Reigns.
Of course.
And this was when he was gone for his leukemia, so he didn't. So he didn't know like Roman was staying there with them, and he was like, I could have met Roman Reigns. Fuck. But okay, so back to like this Daniel Bryan and Sami Zayn match. It was nice to see Sami in a match, a one-on-one match, instead of like, oh, he's just a manager.
Yeah.
But I really liked it because you know, he's being portrayed as the chicken shit heel and that wins by the skin of his teeth. So I liked it, and you know, Daniel Bryan basically beat the fuck out of him, and then yeah, that was the match. What did you guys think of that whole thing?
I'm a big Sami mark. You know, I love Sami so much. I chased down the bus as they were outside of Blaisdell, and I just was screaming the whole time. I was like, I just want a hug from Sami, just one! Yeah! I was just like screaming. And then so much that the people around me were like, can someone just let her see Sami just for a little bit? Because I think she's going to freak out. It's like, she's not going to shut up. And I think she's going to freak out if she doesn't get to see Sami. We have another person here. This is Felix, aka Fertile Flame.
Hello, everybody.
What up?
So we're talking really late about WrestleMania because that's how we do this on Hawaiian time, bro. Anyway, I was stoked that, like how you were, Austin. I was stoked that Sami had an actual match. He had gone so long without actually doing things in the ring that I was starting to get worried. And then when he won the IC title, I cried. I just wept. I was so happy. But it was cool. I mean, it's interesting that in this date that was finally the singles match that we get between Daniel Bryan and Sami Zayn. You know, a dream match in the WWE, years in the making, and that was what the match was. It wasn't, the plucky underdog Sami Zayn against the equally plucky underdog Daniel Bryan. There weren't yes chants versus Olay chants. It was no audience there. Sami was the chicken shit heel. So it was definitely very different from the match I had always dreamt of or imagined. Still dope, though. And I think Sami owns the heel character so well. I love how he does it.
Dare I say, I think Sami's better as a heel. I mean, he's a really believable babyface, but
yeah,
he's
just
so
killing it as a heel. Yeah, he's killing it. But oh man, I remember for years and years and years, I wanted the Sami Zayn heel turn so bad. Like I would tell my friends, I'm like, yeah, Sami's a great face, super adorable, white meat underdog baby face. But what if he turned heel? And everyone was like, he's never gonna turn heel. Shut the fuck up, Ange. And then he finally did it. I was like, all my dreams are coming true. And you can tell that he has so much fun with how much more character shit he has to do now as a heel. He's just so good. He's such an underrated promo, I feel.
Yeah, I'm curious to see where they're gonna keep going with Sami, especially since they put him with Nakamura and Cesaro. Are they gonna because they got to take the belt off of him at some point. But the question is how are you gonna do it? Who knows?
We'll see how it pans out. I did like the fact that the two people that he's teaming up with, right, Cesaro and Nakamura. Cesaro was one of his first matches in NXT, right? If I'm remembering correctly.
It was his
first big
match. Yeah.
Whereas his last exit match was with Nakamura. So I was like, what an interesting way to sort of tie that whole thing together.
I never actually thought about that. Holy shit. the long-term booking.
The long term.
All right. The other match I wanted to get into was. Okay, so am I the only one that actually wanted to see Roman and Goldberg as just a hoss? As just let them be hosses in the ring. If not, like, because all that was like, all it really was. You can even say the same for Drew and Brock. It was like you play like one of the old SmackDown games, and you start
spam a couple moves.
It's like you play like SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain or whatever, and you start the match with like all your finishers, and you just freaking L1, 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 just spam your finisher. Like
it's like it would have just been a battle. It would have been a battle of spears. That would have been kind of interesting on that end.
Well, that and like the other thing with the whole, I also kind of feel bad for Roman too because the other. In this build-up, did they ever mention, I was never beaten for the belt, or blah, 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 blah? Oh, sorry.
You just got too excited, man. No. I don't remember. I don't think they did.
Well, yeah, that was probably a good storyline plot they should have implemented instead of just, you're just you're another part-timer, But
I'm just glad. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just glad that Triple H didn't put himself in that match.
In general, or after Roman dropped, you mean?
In general. It's like I don't remember there was a match with Triple H in this WrestleMania.
No, I don't think there was. Yeah.
But that would have been the spot I would see him putting himself in. It's like,
am I going over?
Like, I would make it. I'm going in.
I would have rather Trips go over than
over Goldberg.
Over Goldberg. I don't know. For me, I'm with you, Austin. I would have rather seen Roman versus Goldberg. I think that would have been more fun with the whole spear versus spear sort of concept. I think they could have played off that a little bit more rather than just spear, power slam. Like I don't know. I don't know if it was just because it was such a last minute change and there was a lack of build up, or if I just couldn't really get into that match. And I found that I didn't care that Braun won. It didn't feel like, yes, Braun won.
And also, it's more like a that, and then I feel bad for Braun too because it kind of feels like they're just gonna feed him to the Fiend, like he's a transitional champion.
Yeah.
When the Fiend died, so Goldberg could have another fucking title run, but in that sense, why'd you take the belt off of him in the first place?
Saudi money.
That's Saudi money. But going into a match, I do want to talk about. Holy fuck, that Boneyard match though. Biker Taker's back, yo.
I loved that. That show was so great. My parents were so confused as we were watching. They're like, "What is this? I thought it was supposed to be Undertaker." I'm like, "It is." Just wait.
And are we, like, as much as I don't want to make, people losing their jobs really sucks, especially now, but I think in kayfabe, The Undertaker killed Gallows and Anderson.
That's what I was saying earlier. I'm like, he's dead, so Gallows and Anderson don't need to stay around either.
We witnessed murder.
We witnessed murder.
Or we witnessed 3 murders. But
that was so good. That was a great match.
Yeah, 'cause initially I was like he's like, I want a Boneyard match, and I'm like, what the? I think everybody just had like a big collective, what the fuck is a boneyard match?
Yeah, I was like, is this a match that I don't remember? Like they've done this before and I just forgot?
And then when you watch it, it's like, oh, it's just a buried alive match.
Yeah.
But you get like the Sting and Vampiro kind of graveyard setting behind it too.
I forgot about that one.
Because that's what like, a lot of people were like assuming it was gonna be, like Sting and Vampiro, but it's good.
Well, I think this was like the best case scenario as far as having an Undertaker match. Honestly, I love Taker as much as everybody else. He's a goddamn legend, and I can't imagine how a WrestleMania is gonna feel when he finally isn't in one. It's probably gonna be very fucking weird.
He wasn't at Mania last year. He wasn't at WrestleMania last year, but we all know he's. And I actually just remembered that too. He didn't have a match at Mania 35, but this was like my only nitpick, and this is nostalgia talking. I would have loved if they ended up licensing fucking Rollin.
Oh yeah! Just pay them. Pay the extra money. It's fine.
Or I'm like, Kid Rock's in the goddamn Hall of Fame. Use the Kid Rock song.
Yeah. Although Rollin would have been fucking dope, man.
I've got more nostalgic feelings for that song than I do American Badass.
Fucking Fred Durst comes out of the fucking grave.
Yeah, and then that's what makes Limp Bizkit popular again.
Yeah.
Or bring it all back. Bring it all fucking
Fred
back.
Durst is alive.
Or fucking or when AJ pulls up into the boneyard in the hearse, Fred Durst is the one driving the hearse.
That would have been perfect. Perfect.
But yeah, I really liked the boneyard match. It was, I guess you can technically say, AJ Styles main evented WrestleMania.
I guess that's true.
Yeah.
Technically, yeah. But
Technically,
then again,
you are correct, and that is the best form of correct.
But, and then going forward with Taker, we don't know, like, is he done? Like, he's done finally,
done.
or
yeah,
or is he gonna? Because going forward, I would not mind if going forward Taker, this was the Undertaker that we got going forward. Like, I love the Dead Man character. It's timeless, but I personally think it's kind of run its course at this point, especially with the build up to this match where AJ's bringing up like his personal life.
Oh yeah.
His wife and
like,
all of that.
I'm gonna help Michelle end your career. Like
he's like, I'm gonna pick.
Wow.
He's like, I'm gonna bury your career in the same plot your wife picked or something like that.
Yeah.
Like people want to say like 2004 Taker when he comes back as the Dead Man is like a hybrid Dead Man. Like this is what I call like the hybrid. It's the best of everything. Except the only thing is like I don't know if it's just we don't know if this is it for Taker for real or not.
There's no retiring wrestling.
Huh.
It's like Dragon Ball Z. Nobody ever goes away forever.
If this happens to be it, like if they did this to make this it, then I'm glad. Like it was a good way to go, and I think the sort of cinematics they used really, man, this can sound terrible, but really helped to make the match better than if it just took place in a ring. I love Taker, like I said, I love him, but for him to go in the ring like how he used to, he can't go in the ring like how he used to, you know, and it's okay. I wouldn't expect him to. He's up there in age. He's had to get a lot of different surgeries, but it's hard sometimes to watch him. It's not the same as it was before. So I like that this allowed him to still be the badass, mysterious Taker that he always was before.
Yeah, this is, if anything, this is I don't want to say like a new beginning for Taker, because he's even in one of the promos he's like, I got more matches behind me than I do in front of me. So if this is kind of, we're finally like getting into like that final leg of Taker's career, then yeah, I wouldn't mind it being like
last run. Yeah.
The last ride, you could say.
Yeah.
But and then again, the other match I wanted to get into, but it was Becky and Shayna. Like the build-up, I really like the build-up, but I would have rather just had Shayna Baszler win the Royal Rumble, because you have her go into the Elimination Chamber and she taps out everybody, right?
Yeah.
So it's like awesome. You made her look strong. Damn it.
Right.
But at the same time, you just killed your entire women's division. Like now, no, and then Becky wins. LOL.
Yeah, that one was a hard pill for me. That one,
other favorite wrestler.
And you met both of them at the airport, remember? You met her and Rollins. But yeah, just I was so invested in Shayna winning. I love Baszler. I'm a super big fan of her. And when she got pinned pretty much the same way she got pinned by Kairi Sane, I was just like, wow, this. I was fucking upset. Like, I was really mad.
Yeah,
it just felt like such a waste.
I probably would have, if this was me booking it, I probably would have had Shayna go over. But again, with the current state of the world, yeah, I can totally get why all these baby faces won at Mania. But this, I don't know, like the way, that's one thing you can say about Mania is just these finishes were really weird.
Yeah.
And then the other women's match I wanted to get into was the NXT women's title match. This is like, I wanna just, it was a good match. It was a really good match.
Up until the finish.
Then the end of the match happened, yeah.
Like, I really liked the whole match, too. I feel you. It was a great match. I thought it was a really good showing as far as their different styles and characters, because I know a lot of the whole thing with Rhea Ripley before she, tuned into the brutality, was that a lot of people compared her to Charlotte. And it's like, oh, she might be the next Charlotte Flair, blah, 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 blah. And she kind of had a probably kayfabe chip on her shoulder about that. And I was pulling really hard for Rhea Ripley. I really, really wanted her to win. I felt like she probably wasn't going to because Charlotte Flair, but I was just...
Charlotte Flair.
Because I was so... as soon as I saw that, I was like, as soon as I saw that Io Shirai is going to be her first contender,
you're like,
her next contender, I was like, no! You're going to have her take out my girl that fast? That fast? She took out Mia this week. She's gonna take out Io Shirai next week. Damn, man. Fuck.
I mean, yeah, like I kind of don't agree with the outcome, but it's like, but on the same side of the coin, like Charlotte puts on good fucking matches. So that's one thing you could look forward to on NXT TV, whether or not you agree with her booking. I personally don't agree with her booking, but I'm like, hell, I'd rather have good fucking matches over Charlotte wins, LOL.
Yeah.
But then there's there's like this one meme I saw where it's like a random person. It's like, oh boy, I finally won a women's championship, and then like in the background, it's like a silhouette of Charlotte.
It's just yeah, I don't know. I don't hate Charlotte.
I'm just tired of seeing her.
I'm just tired of everyone being sacrificed to that altar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the bummer.
I read this one comment saying like whether you think this way too is up to you or not. We all have our opinions. It was like if you're mad about how Charlotte is booked in modern WWE, you would have hated how Ric Flair was booked in the 90s.
Oh yeah.
Like especially in like that mid 90s WCW, you would have hated Ric Flair solely for the booking.
Oh yeah.
But
I was younger then though, so it didn't upset me quite in the same way as the Charlotte does. Also, I'm way more invested in women's wrestling than I am in men's wrestling, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. Yeah, but and then this next match I wanted to talk about, or this acid trip I like to call it, yes. Firefly Funhouse.
Yes.
And no, that was a wonderful 15-year wrestling history lesson in 12 minutes. That was outstanding. I loved every bit of it.
Yes. Same.
It was. I just haven't. You hear it right now. I have no words for what that match was, but one thing I did appreciate though is the way they represent a heel John Cena is just he's in the NWO. And here's a little thing. I love how fucking Bray Wyatt was wearing a Wolfpack shirt, and then Cena comes out and he's in the black and white. So I was like, oh shit, is this? It's not '98. It's like the overbloated NWO with like 30 people in it.
Yeah, when everyone was in NWO, we were all in NWO then. We don't even know it.
But I don't know, this like Cena's another case where we really don't know like where you go with him, but like if this is like a really good way to like write him off for a good while, but I was honestly marking out to more things in Firefly Funhouse than I was Boneyard Match.
Oh yeah, same. Easily. But I love Bray Wyatt and everything he does, and I have since the second I saw Bray Wyatt.
Oh, like the cult leader, swampy Bray Wyatt, or
God, yeah, I thought that whole shit was genius. I thought he had just the absolute perfect delivery. He had a really good, deep understanding of his character and what the character was trying to accomplish, not just as a wrestler, but as a character in general, which I think helped to make his promos seem so authentic. Hell yeah. Fuck yeah,
shit,
man.
pal.
That is 100% good shit, man. And you know Vince can't even fucking argue it because he lets it happen. because he knows that that's beyond shit that he could think of.
That and the Fiend just prints money. It prints money.
Hey, if they even sold one of those fucking belts, which I know they did, I know people that bought that like fucking $1,000 Fiend belt.
That was so dumb.
I know people that bought that.
I know.
It was something like that.
I'm looking this up right now. How much?
I think it's still on the shop. It was like an exorbitant amount, and if they even sold one of those, which I know they did, they made money off of it. Like that paid for 3 belts that they made from the one they sold.
How much of those belts do you have?
I wish. I wish I had that external income.
All right, the Fiend belt is freaking $430.
Okay, it went down then because I remember it was originally posted as like.
I'm looking at it right now. It's $430. Spend the extra $70 and you can get the Rock's Brahma Bull belt.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of merch, I just ordered a bunch of mine for it should be ready for Pride. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I'll actually have all the Pride flames as pins.
Hey, I have to do what you do or what you have behind you, and I've got to just fucking get on the pin board, man.
Oh,
I have all of them in a jar.
This isn't even half of my pins. I need another.
I know it's not.
Yeah, you've seen I have I like loaded up my jacket, and that wasn't even all my pins. Yeah. Oh, have you gotten your vest yet?
No, I am a piece of shit. I'm gonna do it one day. One day I'll have a vest to put all my cool wrestling pins on, and then people will think I'm a cool wrestling fan. It'll be great. I'm so excited for that day where I can make that happen. But yeah, no, I think that the best part about watching the Firefly Funhouse match to me was kind of like how Felix was saying, it was a great history lesson. And, I watched, my grandpa watched, but my parents that didn't really watch wrestling at that time or throughout a lot of those years, and my cousins who only recently started watching wrestling to watch with me and my grandpa, had no idea what the fuck was going on. They're like, what is this? Why is he doing this? And it's like, this is John Cena back in the day, throughout the years, his character changes, all that. This is what this represents, blah, blah, blah. But it was cool to see that portrayed.
This is one little thing I wish they had during Firefly Funhouse when Cena comes out as his Dr. Thugonomics. I really wish he came out with the United States spinner belt or something.
Oh man.
Or because it seemed because the characters seemed like they pulled it out of 2004 or something. All right, no, come on, give me the U.S. spinner belt.
Well, hey, look, we got the greatest cameo of WrestleMania, the greatest return, the SmackDown Fist.
The SmackDown Fist.
Oh, that's right.
5 out of 5. Dave Meltzer loved it.
It wasn't a Kenny Omega match, so it could be a 6.
No, actually, no. It's a 4.75 because it wasn't in the Tokyo Dome.
Yeah, I actually wrote a joke about that in the one-man band review that just went up. Because WLC got 3 stars by Dave Meltzer, and we're just going to assume that he halved the scale down, so that makes it the Omega Okada of little person matches. Because I don't know if you do you remember WLC?
Yes.
WLC is amazing.
Yeah, it was just how they had the little ring announcer, the little referee, the little announce team. So the actual scale was probably 2.5 stars. So yeah, just at 3 stars it was Omega Okada.
So good.
Again, it's good shit, pal.
be interesting to see how many of the bank pans out with this all. Because I think WrestleMania was the first pay-per-view they had, right? Without anybody.
It was.
Oh, okay, this is a match I want to talk about, just thinking about it. How did Joel feel about Orton versus Edge?
It was way too long.
Yeah. I feel like if they cut out a half hour in the middle of the match, that would have been good because it had a solid opening and it had a fantastic close, but the middle of the match went on too long. I did not need a tour of the entire performance center and warehouse.
If it was like maybe 5 or 10 minutes shorter, then yeah, I would have liked it a lot more. But I liked it. It had the drama. It had the intensity. It was just too damn long.
It was very long.
And again, the current situation that the world's in, I feel really bad for Edge, because it's his first singles match in 9 years, right?
Yeah. Where's the pop? Nowhere.
And it's in front of nobody. And
I know.
This is another thing I read too. Was Alter Bridge was going to perform live.
Yeah, I heard that too. I saw that. And I was like,
Alter Bridge were going to perform Metalingus live, and I would have been like, oh,
hey, come on, guys. Let's be fair. Alter Bridge isn't doing shit next year. They'll be free. They'll be able to...
They'll be free.
They'll be available to play it. But one thing I will say with that match also is they did put in a nice red herring at the end of that match. Because when it cuts to the angle from the opposite side, because they're fighting on the truck, like the pickup truck, then they go on top of the production trailer, like you could do in every video game ever, and they're actually fighting on top of the
Mortal Kombat shit.
They're going on top of the trailer, and they cut to the opposite angle, and you just see this giant ladder that it's like, was that ladder there the entire time? And it's like, oh no, was someone jumping off that ladder? Nobody jumped off the ladder. It was.
I know, I saw it. I remember that too. I was just like, oh god, is one of them gonna jump off the ladder? Oh god.
Like,
oh god.
But then didn't Edge jump off a ladder though? Or he jumped off of something.
Yeah, he jumped.
It was like scaffolding or something.
Yeah, he jumped off like a caged area. And he also climbed a piece of fencing that was on top of
on top of the ceiling. Conveniently, just above.
Spider Edge.
Yeah, the Spider Edge. But yeah, like I said, that match just went on forever. That match and Hillbilly Jim's Hall of Fame speech are still going to this day.
I don't know. And then again, I don't like making jokes about people losing their jobs, but I think the 2015 Royal Rumble finally ended yesterday. Or
Oh!
With Curtis Axel.
Curtis Axel. The chains are in fact off now.
Insert Cody doing the fucking...
Right.
Yes.
Honestly, as far as the release goes, that would be someone I'd pick up as AEW. I wouldn't. There's a lot of people that I wouldn't, but Curtis Axel is one I would.
Okay, see, I've got something to say on AEW.
Son of Mr. Perfect.
There's something I've got to say on the AEW thing, which, in my opinion, Lance Archer had better win the belt coming up because.
Oh, the TNT Championship.
Yeah, because one of the big problems I've had with the championships so far is AEW needs to build their own stars. They need to build some people. Like the first champion's Jericho, cool. I think the next champion should have been either Hangman Adam Page or Darby Allin, because that belt. So far, the top belt has gone to 2 WWE guys. If it goes to Cody, it goes to yet another WWE guy. And they need to build their own stars, their own separate identity, and not just be a bastion for released superstar. They don't need to be Tony Khan's home for released WWE superstars.
It's very TNA-esque.
Yeah.
And that's where like Angie's heard me say this before, like sometimes when I watch AEW, I feel like I'm watching TNA again, solely for that reason. Because TNA did the same thing, like, oh, fucking here comes Mr. Kennedy, straight out of WWE. Here, we'll put the belt.
Yeah, we actually made a joke about that in one of our videos where we did like the people who did better in TNA than WWE. It's like if you don't win a championship in your first 6 weeks, it's like you get a bonus.
It's the thing. I'm a huge Mox mark. That's clear to everyone that ever speaks to me ever. I love Mox. Fuck off. But yeah, I'm a big Mox fan. I actually was super, possibly probably selfish on my part. I was super disappointed that he won already at Revolution. I mean, things were already starting to wind down with live wrestling and stuff. They were already starting to talk in the news, all that. So I was just like, man, they should hold off having him win until it's a big, huge, enormous show.
Like, save it for Double or Nothing, too.
Or something, I was just really disappointed because it was like, man, what a great win that could have been had more people been allowed to go, because they were already starting to do travel restrictions by then. Plus,
speaking of which, is Double or Nothing 2 even happening?
It is, but they're doing the whole no audience thing.
Oh.
So I think they're filming it at
in Jacksonville, where they've been doing all their TV or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was a thing I was reading about, because Double or Nothing was going to be at MGM again, right?
Yeah.
And Vegas is totally shut down. So
yeah.
I was wondering, is this even happening?
Yeah, they announced it a couple weeks ago that they weren't going to do it in Vegas. Which, not a big surprise how everything's going, but still kind of a bummer. But yeah, the person I actually wanted to, and who I thought for a long time until I don't know, came to my senses, I guess, who I thought was going to be the first champ was Hangman. And then afterwards, I was like, come on, second champ Hangman. And then when it got to Mox being number one contender, I'm like, okay, Mox is going to get cheated out of it because he can't win it yet. It's just too
early.
Soon. Yeah, it's too early.
Yeah, yeah, and then another thing, since we're on the topic of championships, it's not that I don't like Cody Rhodes. I just don't want him to win the TNT belt right now. Just because
he shouldn't win anything, being that he's the owner of the company.
It's very just, this is my company, I'm gonna be a champion, but again, AEW, they need to focus on building their own stars, not here's Brody Lee who just came in, now he's the world champion or whatever. I'd rather because that's kind of what WWE do too, is they let the older talent go over the younger talent. I'd rather just see new faces, which is why I was hoping either give it to Darby or give it to Archer.
MJF. I mean, he's not in it, but I still want to see the belt on next.
I was convinced that MJF was gonna pull some bullshit and be the next, and get the TNT belt and hold it for a while, kind of like when in MLW he was middleweight champion for a while. Just that kind of enough of a champion that he can talk shit, but not the world champion, because he's too much of a chicken shit heel, and he's gotta get a little bit more wins under his belt that don't look like pieces of shit. I think that didn't the Cruise turn you around on MJF? As far as you were just hell yeah, MJF, good shit now.
Yeah, MJF is the fucking shit, man.
Holy shit.
Earthquake!
Is that an actual earthquake?
Actual
Holy shit.
earthquake.
Like John Teta or an actual earthquake?
Okay.
Don't work yourself into a shoot there. But I don't know, like, and then back to like AEW, like, again, it's not that I don't like Cody Rhodes. It's not that I hate him. It's just, can we kind of pull it back a little bit on the whole elaborate entrance and the 20-minute, like, people pretty much say he's like the Triple H of AEW at this point. It's
Not really. I mean, he did lose to like MJF and Jericho.
Also, yeah, it's more so like the elaborate entrance that only he gets and nobody else gets, like not even Omega, and saying, and it's, I don't know. My thing is, like, I'd rather have a Cody match, like a big marquee Cody match that's not super overbooked, that doesn't have all this outside interference and all this, like,
Doesn't have him busting open as much.
Like, just the Brandy interference, the 3 managers at ringside. He's portrayed as a babyface, but he's booked like a heel. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, again, it's not like a knocker. It's not like I hate him or I don't like him. It's just, I'm like, I'd rather, like, you can very much tell everything is surrounding around Cody in AEW, when I'd rather kind of just be everybody's on an even playing field.
Yeah. I'm wondering how much of all that kind of stuff is intentional and will be long-term storytelling. Because a lot of it seems too heavy-handed to not count for something later. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, this kind of feels like it's leading to, like, a big heel turn for Cody.
God, I'd love it. He's a great heel.
And yeah, like, even at this point, I'd kind of rather just see Cody turn into an egotistical heel in AEW. Because Cody, yeah, his promos on Dynamite and everything, he's got that babyface fire, but he's just one of those things where you can just easily get behind him as a heel. Especially considering, like, you can also bring up the fact, yeah, I'm an executive, blah 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 blah. So yeah, I'm pulling my weight around, da 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 da. You can turn that into a storyline. But then again, they're gonna, both AEW and WWE, they both do things their own way.
Yeah, I know how you feel. I'm hoping this is all leading to a Cody Rhodes heel turn. A hilarious note, I think I'm one of the maybe 4 people in the world that liked where the Nightmare Collective was starting to go. When it first started off with Brandy and Awesome Kong, I was like, ooh, this looks cool. I like the concept of it. And then they added Mel, I think, just randomly, and they started going after Chris Statlander, and I'm like, I understand this less now. Maybe you should have gone after Bea Priestley as far as, like, the sort of mean brutality kind of angle, especially with her promos against Britt Baker and all that. So I quickly stopped understanding what the goal of Nightmare Collective was, but I really liked it from the beginning because I like Brandy. I think Brandy's an entertaining character.
Yeah,
And then if she was heel and Cody was heel, that shit was beautiful. They're a good heel couple.
That was, like, another criticism I had, was, like, Brandy is very clearly a heel in the women's division, but, like, you have, like, Cody as, like, as a baby face, and she's accompanying him to ringside and whatever, and it's, like, kind of head scratchy, but it's not, like, It's not like what
love knows no bounds, Austin. Love knows no bounds.
Love, yeah. Love is love. Love is love. It has no bounds. But I don't know. I'm honestly surprised they haven't been pushing Kenny in the main event towards the world title yet. Because you'd think they'd do that like right off the bat.
I mean, they kind of did in the beginning-ish with the whole Kenny versus Jericho thing, kind of feeding off their feud they had in New Japan.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if it was Kenny's choice to step back or if they decided as the Elite that the Elite shouldn't be the first title holders of anything, in which case, props. I would love, honestly, dream booking for me would be a full Elite heel turn. All of them.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. The Elite, when they did the empty arena shows, and they had like Cody, the Bucks out there, and then Hangman Page coming out from the stage. You know what it reminded me of? Did you watch the? Did you ever watch South Park's WTF episode?
Yes.
That's what it reminded me of when they're all out there giving their soliloquies.
Oh man. But then like they're still running with the storyline that Hangman Page isn't in the Elite anymore, right?
I think so. I haven't watched the BT in a while. I'm going to be honest. I haven't watched the BT in a while.
Okay, I know that's one thing that they're kind of like scaling back on a little bit is like it's trying to let the storylines actually play out on TV instead of like, oh, you need to watch Being the Elite to know the storylines for AEW, or and you need to watch Cody's Diary here, or you gotta watch the Road to.
You gotta watch the Road to stuff. Yeah.
That was like the first article I wrote for Wrestle Talk. Was talking about talking about like the things that AEW is doing wrong, and yeah, one of them is like all the outside stuff that takes place not on television. Like one person I know who, if anybody on here follows Phoenix on Twitter, like Phoenix would talk so much about like how much they advance the women's stories on like Dark or outside of that. It's like, yeah, that does nothing for the product on TV though.
Yeah,
because not everybody's gonna want to, or they have time to watch Dark and Being the Elite and Road 2 and all that. It's easier to just do everything on television and let the storylines kind of develop instead of being like, you know, to quote SpongeBob SquarePants, we're not talking about this or this, we're talking about this. or if any of you have played Kingdom Hearts, this is what it's like with all this other shit going on that you have to like, you got to play all these other games to know exactly what's happening. That's like what AEW is. But I'm glad they're scaling back on it because, again, not everybody wants to or has the time to watch Dark and Being the Elite.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
Because again, it's like if I'm like, but then again, like sometimes watching stuff without context is just, oh boy.
Yeah. It's a weird balance that they need to strike to make it that, you know, you have enough context to understand what's going on, why this match matters, why these people are behaving this way with one another, all that kind of stuff, but you can't have so much outside of supplemental material that it just bogs everything or it becomes difficult to piece together without it.
Because phone. Sorry, somebody texted me. Because it's like because weren't they running a storyline where it was like if Dustin didn't beat Sammy Guevara, if he didn't beat Sammy Guevara, like I'm retiring.
Yeah.
And your
other favorite wrestler, Mark.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, if you wouldn't know that stipulation unless you watched Being the Elite.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's like, thank God for Jericho and Tony Schiavone, because they'll at least recap it. But I'm like,
Yeah.
I shouldn't have to watch all of this other stuff to get a grasp of what's going on.
Yeah.
Especially if it's like leading up to a big pay-per-view.
I feel you. I feel bad that I haven't watched BT in a while. As the episodes got longer and longer, it became difficult to keep up with. Because you can easily fit in, like, you know, maybe 10 minutes here, 5 minutes here, so on and so forth. When the videos get longer and longer, it's sort of like, I need to set aside a whole time to watch this whole thing at once, because I'm going to forget what happened. Like, if I started in the morning and then watch it later again at night, I'm just not going to.
Or at least play highlights of it on Dynamite.
Yeah.
So people can catch up to speed. But I don't know, but I know one with all these recent releases and whatever, I'm seriously hoping the Revolt, I think that's what they're going by.
Yeah.
The Revolt. I hope they show up in AEW. Chances are they will.
I mean, they've been trying to get that tag team match for a couple of years now, so.
And this is like the one time. This is the one time I wish Cornette wasn't on bad terms with like the Bucks and everybody, because I would have loved to have seen Cornette manage the Revival, and he could have been like, "Oh, you goddamn fucking flip flops, you young Bucks motherfucker."
Spot monkey bullshit, motherfuckers.
That spot monkey bullshit, motherfucker.
He's a heel.
Where's my goddamn Sprite, motherfucker?
Oh, fucking corny.
Yeah, it's an odd situation. Just overall, like I said, it's just there's so much potential, so much kind of cool shit going on with. There's so much cool shit going on with AEW. I'm just like, I find the most interesting thing to be the fan base, because that WWE is obviously probably going to run some of their shows soon with an audience now that the governor is going to allow that for a 25% capacity. But AEW is also based in Florida, and I have no doubt that they will also figure out a way to do it as well. And I feel like their fan base isn't going to go nearly as hard on them as they will on WWE when WWE starts doing the same thing. Because we've already seen how they've never mentioned they've never mentioned like the fact that AEW is running shows, but they'll criticize WWE for putting their workers at risk.
Yeah, that's where I say, like, okay, I agree, we're all fickle. Like, let's admit it, we're all fickle, but we're also like, it's also like, well, if AEW does it, it's like, oh, yay, good job, you did it. If WWE do the exact same thing, it's like, what? No, WWE bad. Like they're doing the same thing.
I just keep seeing just your whole hand on the screen. Did you just
Dropped my phone?
Oh. Awesome.
Yeah. I dropped my phone earlier. Either that or I gave birth to one.
Cool. Mazel tov.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the whole crazed fan thing goes both ways in that sense. There's a lot of people that will AEW or die. There's a lot of people that will WWE or die, which is cool. I respect anyone that is a loyal fan of their company, but that doesn't mean you have to shed all over someone else's stuff.
I mean, it'd kind of be like if you went to like a WWE event and you wore like an AEW t-shirt.
Fucking so many people do that though.
So it's like,
you know that's true. You know that's true.
Dude, how many dude, I didn't go to the last live event in Honolulu. I went to the one 2017. Like, there were so many. Then again, like, there were so many
Bullet
fucking
Club
Bullet
shirt.
Club Bullet Club
shirt.
and New Japan shirts.
Bullet
Like,
Club.
I mean, I'm not Hawaiian, obviously, but it kind of makes sense to me that it's easier for y'all to watch New Japan. It's easier for y'all to.
No, it's not.
Time zone wise.
No,
Not really.
Wrestle Kingdom comes on at like.
I mean,
1 in the morning.
It's
1 in the
easier
morning.
for us to watch it than I think people over on the mainland to watch it, but it's not easier for us to watch New Japan than it is for us to watch WWE. Right?
Oh, okay, all right. I see what you mean. Yeah, no, I meant
the WWE or the wrestling or the general wrestling fandom here tends to skew way more WWE. Like it's not even close.
Maybe some older fans that grew up on like WCW, or they were around for like NWA Hawaii, or
that's old school.
ACW,
NWA Hawaii.
Or if they were around, to see, those kinds of people, like that and Japanese TV's always kind of been easy to get in Hawaii as well.
Here, yeah.
So it's like
the culture's easier here as far as that's what we're used to. But okay, and this is gonna sound terrible to me and super duper judgy, but I think a lot of people that get those shirts from Hot Topic have no fucking idea what those.
Oh no, you're right. It's just a cool design.
I mean, here too. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a cool design in general. Like one of the things growing up, Austin 316 and NWO shirts were all over the place.
In Walmart.
Even if people didn't watch wrestling. Oh, I love that post. Did you guys see that Facebook post? Did you guys see?
That's a wrestling shirt?
Oh, is it the one where it's like somebody's complaining about like an NWO shirt?
Yeah.
Talking about the New World Order and like.
I think they got posted in our group, Austin.
I may have seen it, but I may have seen it on like Instagram. But I know what you're talking about though. I mean, that has happened to me where it wasn't like a complete stranger. It was a friend too that's not into wrestling. I have a Bullet Club jacket. I wore it. We were hanging out one night, and then she was like, "What's Bullet Club?" And I had to explain. Oh, it's Gaijin wrestlers. It's Gaijin wrestlers that come into Japanese New Japan Pro Wrestling or whatever. And she's like, "What's a Gaijin?" And I'm like, "That's a holiday for Japan."
Yeah.
But I'm like, so I explained it, and they're like, "Oh, cool." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's cool. You want to watch some New Japan?"
Yeah, my mom wishes she was Hawaiian.
But that and it also, this is another thing too. It's like when I went to that last WWE event, it seemed like a whole bunch of people that were there were stuck in 1998.
Oh yeah.
No,
that's what I mean as far as the skew of wrestling fans in Hawaii. So I think the ones that will still go watch those shows are way back WWE or back WWF era.
Because when I came back to work after I went to that one event, my coworker straight up asked me, "Oh, was Stone Cold there?" And I'm looking at her, I'm like,
yeah.
She asked me "Oh, was Stone Cold there? Was The Undertaker there?" I'm like, "What? What? No."
What?
I should have just hit him with a what? What?
What? Yeah, that would have been great. But yeah, no.
What?
It was just yeah, it's funny to see how the wrestling fan skew is here, because I know that, you know, anyone that goes to watch the Oos shows.
I want to go to one. I gotta go to an Oos show at some point.
Yeah, you do.
Because I mean, it's just they always end up happening when I'm either not on Oahu or I don't have the money at the time. But I'm like, it'll happen one day. One of these days, it'll happen.
Yeah, someone's gotta appear at Oos again and wrestle.
Don't look at me.
Hey,
I mean, it's been a while since you've wrestled at Oos, my dude. People have been asking, actually. People ask, like, what happened to Mark Anarchy? Where is he gone? And I keep wanting to be like, yeah, you know, he's just chilling, man. But then I'm like, nah, I don't want to break kayfabe. But one of my friends is doing a bunch of Oos interviews on Instagram Live, and you keep getting brought up. They're like, oh yeah, like, you know, Mark Anarchy, where's that guy anyway? The fans want to know.
Social distancing.
So tell them that you're here to remind them of the mess they left when they went away. It's not fair to deny him. By the way, I'm getting distracted by the fan blowing everything in the room.
Oh shit, that's me. Okay, sorry.
I probably need to. It's very warm here, but it's probably making a lot of noise. So let me turn it down.
That air conditioning life, though.
Let's see. What temperature is it here right now? Let me see. Right now it is 49 degrees.
And where are you?
New York.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
So if I duck out soon, you'll understand why, I hope.
Yeah. But yeah, like it's like the amount of people. Some of the people that go to like the WWE shows here, they're all wearing like legit old school, like,
yeah.
They're legit wearing old school Stone Cold merch or
The Rock.
More commonly Rock, because I mean, yeah, he's one of us, one of the Island Boys, but
yeah, he's one of us.
But like you don't understand why, but it's also like when you're like waiting outside at the Blaisdell and you hear people asking like, oh, I hope DX are here, or oh, I hope Undertaker shows up, and I'm sitting there and I'm like,
yeah, someone so the first show, right, back in 2016, the first time they came back in like several years,
I almost went to that show, by the way. I really wanted to go.
I totally went to it. It was great. It had Nakamura versus Kevin Owens. It was such a good match. I was seeing
like people's Instagram posts, and I'm just like,
But that one, they were supposed to have Roman Reigns, but then Roman Reigns got suspended.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So many people were just like, oh man, so excited to see Roman Reigns. It's the one wrestler you know, because Polynesian, right? And I'm just like,
weren't the Usos on the show though?
The Usos were on the show. That was the only time they came to Hawaii. I'm so pissed they haven't been back since.
Holy shit, Angie, do you remember the 2017 show, like when we were all expecting New Day versus Usos, and we got fucking Dolph and Corbin?
Yeah.
Because I was like,
yeah.
Because like I was sitting in my seat, I was like, oh shit, here we fucking go. But here we go, and then like Baron Corbin's music started playing, and I'm like, what?
I was so disappointed. I was like dying for Usos. I was like, come on. They're my favorite tag team. They just changed up their whole thing, right? And got the down since day one-ish stuff. And I was super stoked. And then Baron Corbin's
but
music
the question
hit,
is day one H?
Day one. Your day
Day one
one
is
is H. What does it mean?
And then, dude, like some people were asking me like, oh, who are you wanting to see? Yeah, they're asking like, who are you so excited to see? Are you excited to see the New Day? Do you want to see this person? I'm like, the Fashion Police.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
As OSW Review would say, they are in my boy stable. They're in the boy stable.
Hell fucking yeah, man. Dude, I love Tyler Breeze so much. He's fucking great. I miss Pretty Boy Tantrum Tyler Breeze so much. I think about him often. That shit was so good. Every time one of the refs would try and pull him off of someone, or anytime something happened in a match that he didn't like, he would just fucking lose his shit. He would have a total fucking fit. And he's like, "Don't you touch me! Don't you ever touch me!
Don't you touch me! Don't you touch me!"
It's just so good. Plus, he got to have the match with Liger. He lost to Liger, which was expected, but kind of a bummer still. But he got to have the match with Liger.
You know what I'm hoping someday? Like, you know what would be like my peak, like my peak in wrestling? I someday want an entrance as extra as Magnum Tokyo's. Have you ever seen the Magnum Tokyo full entrance?
I have not, but
so.
I should go watch it later.
Yeah, yeah, Magnum Tokyo basically gets an entire dance crew in the ring with him as he comes out, and they do a full elaborate dance number.
Oh,
Yeah. And all I want as a wrestler is to be able to job for who would I want to beat the shit out of me in wrestling?
Seth Rollins.
I will keep these up until I can name a person who I sincerely would want them to like beat me and go over.
Wardlow.
Yeah, because beating the shit out of me would make him look great.
Exactly.
I actually fucking love Wardlow, man.
I appreciate more than I used to.
who would I want a job to? I think maybe Tanahashi.
Everyone jobs to Tanahashi.
Everybody. Who doesn't want a job to Tanahashi?
Did you watch My Dad is a Heel Wrestler? His movie?
Which movie?
My Dad is a Heel Wrestler, Tanahashi's fucking movie, dog.
Yeah, oh, first I was like, wait, what movie are you talking about? Oh, yeah.
That movie was fucking great. Oh my god, I loved that movie so much. That movie changed me, man. That movie changed me. It was so good. I sure I'm being very loud, so I need to close my window.
Dude,
hopefully I'm not shouting at my neighbors.
Dude, Tanahashi should have a fucking Kamen Rider entrance.
That would be dope. I can't believe that in his years at New Japan, that hasn't already happened. I mean, Okada had fucking dinosaurs and shit. Like, why not?
I'm like, come on, like, let Tanahashi have a Kamen Rider entrance. Let him come out on one of the bikes. Or he was in one of the Kamen Rider movies. Why didn't he just show up as his character?
I mean, Okada does buddy card fight.
Oh, really? He does.
Yeah.
Yes, it's kind of glorious. He's been in the anime as himself, where he loves buddy card. He loves doing buddy card. However, unfortunately, wrestling gets in the way of his true passion. And he has a great, like, if you look up Okada Mila Jovovich, he's done some commercials with her for buddy card in Japan. In Japan, He's done quite a few commercials for that game. It's owned by Bushi Road, so you know.
Of course.
Oh.
That's funny.
It's like, okay, now I'm looking at some stuff of Okada in Buddy Fight, and I'm like, ooh, maybe this is something I gotta add to the watch list. Because I already want to play that. I already want to play that one Yakuza game where the freaking all the New Japan wrestlers are in it.
I know. That's the only reason why I want to play that game, actually, because fucking Naito's in it. Yeah. All right. I'm gonna stop this recording. So I guess I know this is the end of this episode of Midcard Mana. If I decide to post this, who knows if I will? We'll see. This is over an hour long, so maybe I gotta get my shit together. We'll see. Bang bang.